Welcome back to Not Another Northern Podcast. It's me, Niall, one of your co-hosts, alongside Gary
Hello.
and Jamie.
How are you doing, guys? Welcome back. In today's episode, we are going to be looking at the games and films that shaped us into the people we are today.
See, I think we'd all have really liked this not to be another filler episode like mine and Jamie's were the other day, but unfortunately, at the moment, I don't think Ricky's particularly wanting to come on, which is fine. And not only that, the guests we want to get on, they lead very, very busy lives. So, unfortunately, it's not always possible for us to just go, actually, can you jump on? But yeah, as Jamie was saying, we're going to talk about games and films that have shaped us and shaped our lives and where we are today, I suppose, to a degree. But first of all, Jamie would like to tell you all to do something.
Do one. No, I'm kidding. What you guys need to do is get on that subscribe button. So we've noticed again for 2-3 weeks in a row now, we're having a lot of our viewers are not subscribed. It's not ideal. Come on, just help us out. All you have to do is literally just pick your phone up, scroll half a centimetre, and just tap that subscribe button. It's that simple. It's free, it's easy, and you get to help out 3 random Northerners. What more could you ask for?
We actually cannot tell you enough how much it does help us for you to help out by doing that. It's not only does it give us all a great sense of pride and satisfaction when we know that we've got people that like us enough to want to watch it week in, week out, but also it does allow us to reach a broader range of people. And obviously, we want to bring you lot the best content. So ideally, we will be doing that by having you subscribe.
Exactly. Easy. It's so simple.
It's the easiest. But
it's as simple as Gary.
Yeah, and that is very simple.
Quite simple.
I love you really, Gary.
Well, do you?
You do.
But yeah, in regards to games that have shaped us, the actual subject matter, and not us prattling on about how you lot need to subscribe. My first ever games console was the Sega Mega Drive. Well, it weren't technically mine. It was my nan's that she'd been given by my dad, and I'm
just like having an image of your nan probably knocking out a full-on night of Sonic. I bet she loved it.
You know what? My granddad was sick at Sonic, like proper sick. Loved it. Yeah. My first recollection of gaming is playing Streets of Rage and playing Golden Axe 1 through 3. All of them fantastic. You know, they re-released all of Sega's classics onto like the Xbox 360 about 10 years like after the Xbox 360 had come around.
Yeah.
All of the classics like Golden Axe and Streets of Rage and stuff like that were on there. It was fantastic.
I got that package actually, the reimagined Sega Classics, because I got it as part of a deal. I needed a new PS. I don't know, actually an Xbox. Yeah, so I needed a new Xbox controller because I only had one, and it was cheaper to get a controller with the Sega pack than it was just to buy a controller on its own.
You know, I can't say I'm actually surprised by that. There's been so many times that I've come to go and get a deal, and it's been cheaper to get that exact same deal with something added to it.
Yeah,
it's weird, isn't it?
It's like they've not gone into marketing right. Like, what should we sell this for? I don't know, but a tenner. Okay, sell it. Have it gone. Get it out.
Oh, how much shall we sell this for? Free. I'll give it away. Yeah, you lot are clever.
Madness.
What about you then, Gary? What was your first gaming experience?
The first proper gaming experience I think I can remember was like starting to play on the PlayStation 1. I think at the first hurdle was just actually trying to get it to work. Because you just sit there for it to load up, and you just be sat there like in just waiting for it to come up, and then if it went through,
Crossing everything, fingers, toes, legs.
like that was the first achievement. If it loaded up, you felt like you could just turn it off, and you'd already won there when that had happened. But
You
yeah,
shouldn't have got your PlayStation from Thorsby Market then.
well, it was cheap, weren't it? So,
Yeah,
And
for that
nicked.
no, it weren't nicked. It fell off at Macro lorry. I got told.
Yeah, that's always the excuse.
Yeah.
You know what? I do remember the first time I ever played on the PlayStation 1. My dad bought. Well, my dad and stepmom bought it me for a birthday when I'm like probably 2003, something like that. But
The PlayStation 1?
the PlayStation 1, yeah, it came out in 2002.
I'm glad to hear. No, it was long before that. It was 90s. PlayStation 1 come out.
It weren't
I guarantee you.
Don't worry.
You get on that. You get on that Google.
PlayStation. Oh,
PlayStation
no, yeah.
1. I bet it was 94.
I had
Ish.
in Japan 94, the original PlayStation, that old blocky one. The one I had was the PS1, which was 2000.
Ah, the slimmer one.
Yeah. I did it. I have got an actual PlayStation somewhere. I think my dad brought it home from somewhere, like works, something like that. Him and his company, when he worked at not his last place, the place before, had like this really weird customer that used to bring random like games consoles and stuff. I've had all sorts of stuff out of him.
Excellent.
Like all legit.
That's not as weird as
It
when I was in work one time. I used to work for a recruitment firm in Doncaster Town Centre, and one of the people I once got into a job fetched us a bunch of crabs, live crabs, for us to eat for some reason. Just fetched him and just dumped a bucket of crabs in the middle of the table. I'm like, what the fuck you want us to do with them? Polish people for you. Not a fucking clue.
Eat them.
But it's dog into it, so.
See what
This stunk.
What I was thinking, by the way, is the first game I remember playing on the PlayStation is Firebugs, and that came out in 2002. That's I got that was the first game I got with my PlayStation.
See, PlayStation 1 for me. There's two games that really spring to mind for me. The first being Crash Bandicoot. Grew up playing Crash Bandicoot. Absolutely love it. Still now, I love Crash Bandicoot. It's fantastic. I've got all the remastered ones on the PlayStation 4 from the original trio and the Crash Team Racing as well.
Because they're just Tag Team Racing was dope as fuck.
Yes.
Me and my sister used to play it all the time when we went up to my grandma's because I had my Xbox up there, the original one. And we used to play Crash Tag Team Racing, and she'd always be Coco, and I was always Crash.
Brilliant team.
Game.
And the other game that springs to mind on PlayStation, the one and only game, the first game I ever played 100% completion, Abe's Odyssey.
See, I think one of our first ever conversations, like when we first started working together at the non-disclosable call centre in Rotherham, was actually about Abe's Odyssey, because I remember you telling me like very, very proudly that you completed it.
Absolutely.
I was like,
have you ever tried to complete it? It's so hard. I even tried it. I tried it about 2 years ago because I've got that as remastered on the PlayStation 4 as well, and it's so fucking hard.
You know what? Abe's Odyssey, I played probably like the first 5 minutes of it, and I didn't understand it. And to be fair, I was so young. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. But it's one of them, like you know, you go back now and play games that you probably weren't very good at as a kid. And you play them and think, oh shit, that was actually really simple. Why did I not work it out?
Yeah.
Like, another game that I didn't realise how good I'd be until I hit adulthood is Tetris.
Oh yeah, I had Tetris on my Game Boy. Honestly, I love Tetris.
Obsessed with it.
Passed some right hours on.
Still play it now. I've got it on my my Nintendo Switch, and I play it as much as I possibly can.
That's a great shout. I do enjoy Tetris. I remember when I got my Game Boy, there was a great game I had on my Game Boy. I got a Game Boy Color one year for Christmas, but I hated having it out in public because it was purple. and I was scared that people were going to like take piss out because I had a purple games console. But I used to play a game called Quest for Camelot, and you're basically like a wannabe knight, and you're working your way up to being a knight, and it had like Merlin on it and everything. It was a really really good game. You like wanted to be a knight of the Round Table.
You know, it is. I've just looked it up on Wikipedia. It's based on the animated Warner Bros. Movie of the same title. So there's a film. There's a film to the game you remember playing.
I did not know that. I must watch this film.
9 worlds with 60 levels.
Yeah,
Jesus.
very very
Yeah, that's a big old
in-depth game for a cartridge game as well. You got to remember this is a cartridge back in day. This one had some serious depth to it.
It's yeah. I don't think many people will know or won't know whatever. With the original Game Boy, well, the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color, it wasn't all that common, or it didn't always happen that you get a save on battery. So you know, if you say with the actual cartridges for the games, if the battery inside there is fucked, your save gets wiped every time.
Really, I did not know that.
I bought an old Game Boy Color at the start of lockdown because I was like, you know what, a fancy one. 20 quid
Yeah.
off of Facebook Marketplace. It
Easy
came
money.
with Pokemon Blue, and it came with
Perfect.
like a massive Game Boy, like a very old school Game Boy carry case, and it gave you a DC charger and all that sort of shit. And I tried loading up Blue. I thought, oh yeah, it'll be fine, and it came up just saying new game. I thought, oh brilliant, they've wiped it already. Started playing through, probably stuck an hour into it, and I went like at the time I was like, right, I'm hungry, I'm gonna turn it off, I'm gonna eat with Millie and what have you. Went back on it later on that night, save had disappeared. I was fucking fuming.
That reminds me, actually, Ricky's got my fucking Game Boy. I've got like one of them Nintendo 2DS lights. Do you know one that don't actually open up? It's just like a flat console.
Yeah.
I bought that when Pokemon Sun and Moon come out because I really wanted to play Pokemon Sun and Moon.
I've got Sun, actually.
It's a fucking brilliant game.
Yeah.
Because they reimagined all the original 151 into the new game. So like redesigned them all into like Hawaiian characters. It's phenomenal.
See,
but Ricky's had mine for about 2 years now.
See, I wouldn't say I'm a massive Nintendo fan, but a lot of the consoles I own are Nintendo. Like, I've got a Nintendo Switch just because I wanted to play Sword and Shield. The only reason I've ever had for Nintendo stuff is so that I can play Pokemon.
Yeah, I've not played Sword and Shield yet.
You know what? Pokemon's probably another game that absolutely shaped my life. Like, it's phenomenal.
Absolutely.
How someone decided, oh yeah, you know what, I'm gonna make this game, because originally Pokemon was a game aimed to catch bugs. The guy that created Pokemon is I could be wrong about this, but I'll double check. I believe he's got autism. And he originally made Pokemon so that he had a game where you basically caught bugs. That was the original intention for it.
Okay.
But then obviously it developed and went further and stuff like that, and it became an actual game where you could battle with your Pokemon.
Have you ever played Pokemon, Gary?
I actually play it quite a lot, to be honest, on Game Boys and stuff like that. I always remember as well, when you used to have to get them data transfer wires things for Game Boys.
Yeah. Just so you can complete your Pokedex.
Yeah, just so you could get everything and get it done, and you go around everyone and be like, oh, can I plug in so we can do this? And just like going around.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Gary. Yeah, go on, carry on.
No, I was just saying you just like go around and ask people and stuff like that to try and get it all done.
Yeah. Have you guys seen how much Pokemon cards are worth nowadays?
so much money. I've got a
It's
tin
ridiculous.
in my office here that's got shit tons of old Pokemon cards. I reckon
You
I'll
got
throw
your Charizards?
fake. I have no idea. I haven't had a look at it in years and years and years.
If you can get a base set Charizard
Yeah, I know.
from, it's worth about 250k.
You know
It's
what?
ridiculous. One card.
You two keep
250.
talking. I'm gonna grab my tin and see what I've got in there. Because this, if I've got a first edition Charizard, us lot are setting up a proper recording studio.
We're having an office. That reminds me, onto game consoles and things like that. I remember my brother one year for Christmas got the original Xbox, but the Crystal Edition. So it were all see through. It looked fucking phenomenal.
Yeah. I think one thing as well I can remember about the old consoles is like they were built to last.
Oh yeah,
Like,
absolutely. I got pissed up and threw all over my Xbox, and it still works.
Yeah. You could chuck them out of second story windows, give them a bath, everything. And
Give him a bath.
Yeah, give them a bath, make sure they're all squeaky clean. And they're
Something
still
that
fine.
people from Rotherham are not used to doing.
No.
But God, we're taking baths with your toaster next.
Or his mum.
Tried that.
Oh, his
I got
mum.
quite shocked on the.
Oh God. I bet Ricky slides his bread in there.
You know what? Bread making's fantastic. That is one thing I've taken up during lockdown. You know what?
Oh, Gary, that's one thing I wanted to ask you. On our last episode, we brought up that we've heard a rumour that your mum has started a baking show. Can you confirm or deny this?
So I can confirm she did start doing videos about baking and cooking, and she was cooking different things and stuff like that.
Where would one find such a channel?
So she does have a Facebook page called Nana's Cooking.
Excellent.
Sure, if you go on my Facebook page, I'm sure you could find it on there. But she hasn't posted in quite a while.
Well, she needs to get back on it.
Yeah, she is considering getting back into it and stuff like that, making videos regarding baking and stuff like that. But yeah, at the minute I'm sure there's still a few videos on there.
Tell her if she starts a YouTube channel, she can be a featured character on one of our future episodes.
Or we
No
can
problem.
just replace Gary and bring her on anyway.
This is Gary.
I have just looked at some of these Pokemon cards. I definitely do not have a Charizard. However, I do have a Dark Vaporeon, which according to eBay, and I could be wrong about this, and it might be wrong, is worth £70.
That's not bad.
You know what?
I don't think I've ever seen a Dark Vaporeon.
I'll send you a picture.
I'm glad.
I'm just having a look through. I've got shit tons of energy. If anyone wants to buy my energy, I'll sell it.
Some energy, boy. I get up.
Magnemite, Pikachu, Yellow Cheek,
You got Yellow Cheek Pikachu?
Yeah, I don't think they're the rare one, are they?
Yeah, they're rarer than the Red Cheeks. Red Cheeks are standard.
Oh, cool. I've got two of them. I've got Haunter. Haunter's fucking cool, you know.
Yeah.
I'm starting to wonder how many shinies or hollows I actually got as a kid.
Have you got a Kadabra?
Possibly. I'm just looking.
Because Kadabras are worth a fucking fortune because they stopped printing them 20 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, because of Yuri Geller. He sued Pokemon for
I remember.
The Kadabra character being too similar to him.
Well,
It didn't help that in Japanese, Kadabra was actually called Yuri.
I've got Erica's Ivysaur. I don't know who Erica is, but I've nicked her Ivysaur. And at Bellsprout.
She's not having them back, bitch.
Coughing. Nidoran. Needle.
Then nowadays,
Weeping Bell.
to look back and just think what we used to buy from shop, like what were a pound a pack, and we used to trade them and stuff like that. are worth so much nowadays.
You know what?
Oh no.
Through the entirety of that pile of Pokemon cards, I've got 0 shinies. 0.
None at all.
So I don't know what the fuck I did with them as a kid. I might have eaten them. I were a fat fuck as a kid, so probably. Right, Dark Primeape. I've just found that.
Oh, sorry, Niall, you're right. It's the Red Cheeks that first edition base set. I've just quickly googled it.
See, these ones are from.
Oh, wait a second though.
What?
An estimated yellow cheek PSA 10 mint condition is worth about 150 knockers.
I'm going to tell you these are not PSA 10s.
Anywhere near.
Probably not, no. In fact, if we were to look at them, they'd probably be -10.
Excellent.
These cards were played with as a kid. I wasn't thinking,
Oh.
you know what, in 20 years' time, I'm going to have to sell these.
And it could be worth quite a bit if you've got a shadowless one. The highest one sold for, the most recent price is $530.
Really? Jesus.
Yeah.
I've got Bear Abras. I've got a Jinx. I can't believe Jinx was the OG Nicki Minaj.
Do you know what's really annoying? On the old Pokemon games where you get an Abra show up and you go to catch the cunt and it just fucks off.
The only way to catch an Abra that I ever knew of was using Snorlax to send him to sleep and to catch him.
Yeah. Or use, I think it was a Mega Ball.
Yeah.
I think if you got a perfect throw with Mega Ball, you could manage to get hold of one. But
they were powerful as fuck.
Do you know when Pokemon Go first come out?
Yeah.
The first day of the game, I downloaded it illegally and got it while it was still only out in America, because it took about a week later before it come out in the UK. And on the first night, I managed to catch an Abra, and I was so fucking excited because, like, obviously being an original player of the game, like going back all those years, like how hard Abras are to catch, and then like everybody was like, "Oh, we've got about 15 Abras." I'm like, "Oh, fuck you."
It's horrible. I'm just looking on eBay
Yes.
at Pikachu Yellow Cheeks, and there's one here going for £400.
Nice.
I'm gonna say
Bids on it.
I don't think they'll be worth that in the slightest. But
Just pop it up for a tenner.
Pop it on bidding.
let's have a look. Yellow Cheeks Pikachu. What have they sold for most recently? How the fuck do I do that? There is a way, isn't there, to set on eBay, I think, so that you see previously.
I think so.
Sold ones.
While you're doing that search, let me just go back to Abe's Odyssey that I mentioned earlier. But what I loved about that game is, you know, like when you used to be able to do the chanting to take other people's minds. You used to be able to like control the like sligs and stuff like that with the machine guns, and getting them to like shout random shit to the friends and stuff. I thought it was such a well put together game, especially on a PlayStation 1 era. Absolutely fantastic game. So much depth to it.
It were looking back on not just that game, just on any game. It's just like these were the first consoles to come out, and the amount of work that went into them were just. You look back at it, and you just think that's just how much they did, just to give everyone that experience. And up from
I remember one of my friends, Dylan. Shout out if you are listening to this, Dylan. Doubt it, but worth try. Me and him used to go to his nan's house, and she used to have a caravan sat on her drive. And we used to just go sit in the caravan and set his Nintendo 64 up and just play like GoldenEye and Super Mario Kart and stuff like that. And it was such fun. I remember playing GoldenEye, the James Bond game, the one where you could get the golden gun and kill people in one shot. Such good fun. Spent hours playing that sort of shit.
Gone to Xbox, like starting playing Halo.
Yeah, Halo was a cracking game.
That was like I think it was last year. I on the Xbox they'd brought out on the Xbox Game Pass brought out all the previous games out for Halo.
Yeah.
Like all from the very first one. So like right, I know what I'm doing. I will play them all the way through right till the end, and seeing because like through them games, that's one of them games where you can see the advancements what had come forward on each game being made. Like the graphics, just simply like the graphics compared to the first one to the last one, it's just so noticeable. Like there's such a massive difference.
You know what? On the subject of Halo, the last Halo I think I played was Halo Reach, and
Yeah.
that was up there I think for me as one of the best, if not the best Halo of all time.
Tell you what my favourite Xbox game was, Fable.
Sick game. The original
Absolutely
I never played.
unreal.
Played 2 and 3, and
The third one was probably the best game I've played in terms of like weapon development and stuff like that. I love the idea of the more you use something, the better it gets. So I remember when I played through Halo 3, I had not Halo, sorry, Fable 3. I had the hammer, and I used to use a lot of heavy attacks, so it become more potent in them sort of attacks, and it made the development of the game so much better.
That was the beauty of it. It was the development of. Well, I liked that you developed your character as even if you wanted to put your country into debt or whatever because you cared that much about the people, it always had an effect on you no matter what. And sometimes you had to make those hard dilemmas. It was quite good
and then
on that front.
at the end you got to see whether you was a good leader or a bad leader, couldn't you? And you become like either a devil or a god. It was fucking brilliant.
I think I ended up being good in that actually.
I think I did as well, to be fair.
I think it was harder to become bad than it was good.
I think the only bad thing I had going for me was the fact that, because like, I think it's about halfway through, you have to get a wife and get married, and I never went back to her. I think she wasn't really happy about that.
No, I think the thing that turned it for me was when you have a choice of building an orphanage or not, basically. And I seem to vaguely remember not. And I think that was the only time that they were like, oh, actually, you're a dick.
In terms of recent games then, so let's say last 2 or 3 years, what have you played that's really made you fall in love with gaming again? Made you think, wow, this is really going places?
Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag was the one that
nice,
made
good
me
game.
cry so much, That one was
Gary, what about?
That was the game that made my heart like break and then reform within a matter of about 6 minutes in the last cutscene.
Yeah, that entire game is such a good playthrough. I think one of my favourite parts about that is when you're just taking your time, just with in a ship and what have you. You got like the crew singing and things like that. I think it's fucking brilliant.
Yeah. Or the shanties.
Yeah. Gary, what about you? Is there any games that you've played recently that you just thought, this is brilliant?
Main game for me is just simply like Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah.
Like I recently fired up my brother's old PS4. So I'll ship it on GTA 5 already in it. So I thought,
Nice.
what, I'll reset it and I'll start it again and do all missions from the start. And stuff like that.
Yeah.
Going through the playthrough and everything like that, I was just like before I knew it, I'd been on it like 3.5 hours.
It does fly
Without
when you're playing something like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
yeah, and without realizing it, and just doing stupid stuff on it, and like seeing how fast you can go, or seeing if you can jump up that, and seeing if you how many flips you can do in air, and doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or even stopping at a red light and trying to act like the AI. Just like,
Yeah.
oh, for me,
See,
that's
for
really
me, the one game that stands out for me over the last few years has been Spider-Man, the PS4 Spider-Man game. Such
yeah.
a fantastic game. I've never played anything as fluid in my life, and I really want to play the Miles Morales new one once I get a PS5 because that looks even better. But everything with that Spider-Man game, the progression, the suits, the storyline, the swinging through the city, having all of New York at your fingertips, it's just insane. Such a good game.
think as well.
Have you guys played it?
I haven't played it personally.
Oh,
I
you
have.
should.
I've seen quite a lot of gameplay with it, and videos about it and stuff like that, and it does look really. See, I can remember playing the old Spider-Man. I think it was on
Yeah.
PlayStation 2 or something. And even then, I couldn't do the missions on it or all like that. Like, I'd just do it and die straight away. So
Yeah.
I'd just swing through city and just do random things and stuff. Um, but I think another game for me that would absolutely love for him to do a remake of and remaster is The Getaway.
Oh, Getaway were a great game, yeah. Black Monday as well, the
Yeah.
second one were a great game too.
Yeah. They were, for me, that was what really got me into gaming. I used to love them games. I used to play them
Now,
constantly.
hear me out on what really needs a remaster, and you might have never played this game, but Crazy Taxi.
Yeah, Crazy Taxi
Yeah.
were fucking
Phenomenal
great.
game. Why that's not being
Especially in an
remastered,
arcade.
no idea.
Yeah.
That wants remastering. It's a phenomenal game. In fact, I'm going to see if I can buy it now for PC, and then I'm going to stream it straight to the NRG-J channel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything to be fair, I was thinking the other day, I ideally could do with getting a capture card for my Switch,
Yeah.
and I'll
Yeah,
start playing
definitely.
bits and bats from Nintendo on there. See, I don't have an Xbox or a a PlayStation, anything anymore.
Yeah.
I'm PC
I think
only,
what
so
would be good is like a Zelda playthrough or something like that, because I know the Zelda games are fucking great.
they are meant to
Or
be.
even a Pokemon playthrough.
I would like to redo Pokemon Sword. Sorry,
I might,
Pokemon Shield. I've
because
got.
what my daughter's got a Switch.
Mm.
I might try and steal that and play through some Pokemon. To be honest with you,
You
because
should.
I miss it.
It's honestly, mate, the amount of time I've spent in the world of Pokemon is not worth knowing.
I hope it lives up to what Sun and Moon did for me though, because having that, the way that game was brilliant. Do you know, like having I don't know if you remember, Niall, you had like the different rocks that gave you like super moves and things like that,
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah,
that made it great.
See, there's not that in it. Yeah, in fact, no, there is. It's you get like this band, and it's called G-Max or Dynamaxing, and
Yeah.
your Pokemon becomes massive when it's in certain locations when you're fighting, and it'll go huge, and you select like the correct like say you're taking on a water Pokemon, you do like a grass specialty, but
Yeah,
usually when you're having to use Dynamaxing, it's during a time that you're in like a gym battle. Gym battles are revolutionised by it because you might fight someone and be absolutely hammering the life out of them, like from second one to the end of it, but their last Pokemon will always be Dynamaxed. So if you fuck up and think, oh fuck it, I'll go Dynamax now halfway through your battle, and you haven't got it till end, you can't do another Dynamax. You're screwed. It's very, very interesting.
I remember playing through Sun and having an Incineroar. So starting with obviously the lit and the fire type. Obviously, you have to start with fire type. I've always gone with fire type. And end up with an Incineroar because the Incineroar was so powerful, such a good Pokemon to battle with, especially because for me, I've played through a lot of Pokemon games, and the final bosses that you fight on Sun and Moon seemed a lot harder than usual. Like you had to really play it tactically in terms of which types of Pokemons and things you were going to fight with.
Yeah, it's become so much more tactical now. Playing it, it's almost chess-like how you have to play
Yeah.
Pokemon. Because there's no easy way of going about and doing stuff. You have to now know what. Say you're coming up against, like, I don't know, say a water dark type. That dark type might entirely counter stuff that would normally make a water type weak. So you have to know.
Yeah.
It's so in depth. It's beyond
Absolutely.
belief. But yeah, I just about manage it. But I think that's from years of knowing.
I tell you what,
to play.
games also need a remaster. The Lord of the Rings trilogy from the PlayStation 2.
See, I would love
Especially
that.
Return of the King. Return of King was probably one of the best RPGs I've ever played in my life.
Yeah, up there. You know what was good? But it was the most scary game to me as a kid for some reason. Is the Fellowship of the Ring? When you're in the Shire, and you've got to escape from the Black Rider.
Yeah.
Every single time without fail, I got caught, and I remember being sat in my grandma's living room playing it on my Xbox, and every time I'd do it, no matter what time of day it were, I'd shit myself.
Oh yeah, because you'd just be walking, all of a sudden it flicked that cut screen of the hand grabbing you. You're just like, oh my god, what the fuck?
I never completed it.
I remember,
I
traumatized.
stayed off it.
A game that I never got a chance to complete, even though I tried many times, was Driver. Do you remember Driver on PS1? I couldn't get out of the tutorial. It was so fucking difficult.
See, I never played it. I never played Driver.
Oh, it was horrible. To get past the tutorial, you needed to do like 100 donuts and weave between cars and loads of different shit to get out of a fucking parking lot to be able to go play the rest of the fucking game.
I imagine it wasn't the nicest game to play.
I had another game as well. It was a third-person shooter called SOCOM, and the edition that I had come with a headset, so you could call out to your AI characters to do different things, and it was fucking terrible because it didn't follow commands properly. You'd say like Charlie attack beta or whatever, it would just go, "Sir, I do not understand." And you'd be like, "Fucking move, you dickhead!" And next thing you know, you're all dead. You fucked. It's so hard.
It's not going to understand a little pillock from Swinton, though, is it?
Probably not. No, I agree.
Charlie, go and attack beta. Sorry, sir, I do not understand, idiot.
Yeah. Fucking move, you dickhead.
Is a question I had for you both.
Go on.
Because obviously we said we were going to cover films and games.
Yes.
Where do you stand? I'll go into my second question because I've got one about films as well.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on limited edition versions, like collector's editions of games?
I think it's a really good thing.
Because
yeah, I do as well.
Do you see them sometimes now as being an excess money grab for companies? Because I've been thinking it recently. Is there's some games that you'll buy now, and the biggest one of them all I seem to find is Call of Duty. Is you'll have a standard edition that is 60, 70 quid or whatever it is now for a console game. And then you've got this choice of paying, like, let's bear in mind that, not even 5-10 years ago, games, you were lucky if you paid more than £40 for them.
Oh, yeah.
But now you're paying 60 quid for a game that 9 times out of 10 is unfinished. And then after that they release a limited edition version. But this limited edition version is another like 40, 50 quid on top. So sometimes playing £110 for a game, and you don't usually get anything good with it. Like,
I agree. With Call of Duty, though, if you go back past the last 3 years, with the limited edition Call of Duty, you did actually used to get quite a lot. Like, I remember with the Modern Warfare 3 limited edition, you got some fully working night vision goggles.
Yeah.
Which was a fucking really, really interesting thing to have with it. And then I can't remember which one. I think it might have been Black Ops 3 or Black Ops 2, where you got a fully working Juggernog fridge with your limited edition copy. And then Black Ops 4, you got the mystery box from the zombies as the box that the game came in and things like that. So when it's like that stuff that's fucking brilliant.
That's amazing. And you think, you know what, I've got value for money. It's like when Bethesda released the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, which is on the subject of games that have really shaped us. Anything Elder Scrolls based is something phenomenal to me. But when they released Skyrim, the version you could get had the dragon on a word wall as a statue, and it wasn't that much more to buy it. It was like, I think the actual game itself was maybe 35, 40 quid, 2011, which obviously is nearly 10 years ago, 9 years ago, whatever. But yeah, you got that for like an extra 20, 30 quid. You could have that, and it gave you like loads of extras around it, and that sort of stuff makes it worth it. But when you're buying a game
nowadays, it's not worth it because everything's fucking pay to win shit.
It's not only that, but it's digital download stuff. So you're paying an extra 30, 40, 50 quid or whatever on top of a 60 quid game to then go, oh yeah, look at this, my character's got pink camo.
I know.
Is that a bonus?
One of our friends who we play Call of Duty with, he wears vests a lot. We always bully him because he can't afford sleeves and shit like that. And he went and got a character. He paid 16 quid for a character on the last course of Modern Warfare just because he had a vest on and a gas mask. And we just ripped the shit out of him because he spent 16 quid on a digital skin for a character that just made him look like a prick.
You know what? The only time I think, to a degree, it's worth doing stuff like that is when you see the like season passes and stuff on games. Like when I was playing, it would have been Modern Warfare, the most recent one, but the Warzone part of it.
Oh yeah.
Which was sick. Warzone is arguably one of my favourite game modes that has been released by any company. Like, I hated Fortnite with a passion.
Oh yeah, in terms of battle royales, it's my favourite.
It's got to be. It's fantastic. It's really enjoyable to play. But then, do you find yourself able to justify when you've got a game for free in Warzone? Do you feel like you can then justify buying that season pass for 15 quid, 16 quid, or whatever?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great deal.
Yeah. I do as well. I think the fact that Warzone was completely free, I mean, people that bought Modern Warfare and anyway were going to have access to it, but the fact that you can get that on its own as a standalone thing, amazing. And I mean, the closest I've ever come to winning was being in the last circle with two other people. I killed one of the people, the other guy killed me, which was fun. But yeah,
I finished second yesterday on one, and I was absolutely gutted. My hands were sweating, my heart was beating, my fucking arse were falling out. I couldn't cope. And like, it's very rare I get to that sort of rig because I don't play like I used to. I wish I could. I wish I had the time, but I don't play like I used to. And I got into the final circle, and I was around the airfield at the military base. So not airport, the military base airfield. I was in one of the little bunkers, and the circle started pushing me outwards. I pushed out, and this guy picked me off, down me with an headshot, and then I had a self revive, so I revived myself. And I thought, right, I've got two choices. He's going to be pushing me down. I can pop up and try it to him, or I can re-armour, but he could get to me before I armour, so all that going off in one go. I decided to just try and challenge him, and he just picked me off again. And I finished second, and I was absolutely gutted.
It's it's an
Heartbreaking.
interesting one playing Warzone. I do struggle in a lot of ways like with it because I've never been good at Call of Duty. Halo is always my scene, but I think with Warzone it's definitely something that is worth the play of, even if you jump on for one game, it still provides you a bit of entertainment. It's great. Now, the second question I had for you both was, where do you stand on film to game adaptations? Because it's not as common now, whereas it used to be every other film that came out had its own version of a game.
If it's done right, then it can be good. I'm trying to think of the last film to game adaptation that I played. It's probably going to be one of the Amazing Spider-Man game on the PS3, I think it was. That they adapted that one. Do you know not the Tobey Maguire, what's his name? Andrew Garfield, is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy who played the Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah, the game adaptation of his movie, which wasn't bad, but the mechanics of the game itself didn't play well. The storyline was good, but the mechanics didn't play well. I think what is worse though is when they try and turn games into movies. When have you ever seen the old like Mortal Kombat films and stuff?
I was about to bring that one up. Think of stuff like World of Warcraft. It ended up being Warcraft in the end. As a film, I didn't hate it. I thought it was all right. But
they had a big budget, didn't it? To be fair,
massive budget, and expended far too many resources on something that wasn't going to take off in the first place. Really, Like, don't get me wrong. If they'd have chosen a better story and used less of a budget and pumped it into actually exploring that particular storyline in the World of Warcraft universe, because the lore of Warcraft is phenomenal. You
absolutely.
And read for hours and hours, and you'd still not know half of the information.
If they developed it into a film series that followed the different things that come out, the different expansions that come out over the last 15 years or whatever it's been running for, like, they could have made that into an actual series, and it had been really good to watch. But the fact they decided to just try and smash everything into one and try and make it into a film, it just didn't work.
Yeah. Another example of it, another example of a game that probably shouldn't have ever been developed into a film, Need for Speed.
Please, a Super Mario. Oh yeah, I was going to say.
But I think that's an honourable mention. I don't understand why Need for Speed was ever made into a film. It felt,
no idea.
As the older, as the newer games came around, it did feel as though it was like a cinematic experience anyway. So
yeah, the only one I think that could have developed into a film. There's two. There's two that spring to mind that could have developed into films. One was Need for Speed Most Wanted, because the storyline on Most Wanted were pretty decent. And the other one,
you're going to say it's Carbon.
No, I was going to say Payback. Have you played Need for Speed Payback?
I don't think I played it.
It's I'm sure that's the one where you're a copper and your brother gets killed when he takes part in a street race. He gets murdered at the end of the race because he wins, and then you try and infiltrate the racing scene and try and work your way up to get against the person he won against, something like that. So like the storyline is actually really, really good. So yeah, that'd be a good adaptation. But I know what you're saying.
I think Carbon would have been interesting.
Carbon for me, it really took everything that the Xbox 360 had to offer in terms of graphic capabilities and pushed everything to the max, didn't it? It was really, really well executed game.
Phenomenal. If you would say to me if you were going to go and play any racing game from since the start of time up until now, like bear in mind we've got Forza Horizon, we've got the original Forza, like Gran Turismo, all them. It would be Carbon for me. I had so many hours on that game and so much fun with it. I remember.
For me, a racing game that I really enjoyed playing, it's gotta be like Gran Turismo or something. Oh no, I'll take that back. I take that back. I'm gonna say Colin McRae Dirt.
Fantastic game.
Yeah,
Do you know another game
the first 3 Dirt games, great.
Another game I thoroughly enjoyed, Project Gotham Racing.
Yeah,
That?
yeah, I do. Yeah,
So
the map on that was so big.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, super game.
Fantastic.
What about you, Gary? Have you any racing games that you've played that you'd love to go back to?
Gary?
Me, like Colin McRae Dirt, or
Yeah.
how like, because I can remember recently playing the new Formula One game.
Yeah.
And I just think, yeah, like the realism aspects and stuff like that is absolutely brilliant. But I don't know. I think a part of me is just wishing for some of the just like, obviously you get a game where you want realism, you want to feel like you're there. But
Yeah.
then there's other times you want it to feel like a game, if you get what I
Yeah.
mean.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you just think, hang on, you may have took it a little bit too far, and you kind of still want that aspect there.
Have you seen that? Speaking of Formula One, have you seen that? I think it's Lando Norris, one of the drivers for McLaren, is a Twitch streamer now.
No.
Yeah, he's still racing, obviously, but you know when they had the down season, when they had to close because for COVID and things, he turned his attention to streaming on Twitch and streamed with some of the like biggest people in the world, like streaming with like Ninja and everything and stuff. Pretty impressive.
Chuff and jump. Do you know
That is
what
really good.
I did enjoy watching in regards to sort of video games that were adapted into films? I don't know how the fuck they did it, but it worked out so well, and I actually enjoyed it. It was a kids' film, admittedly, but the Angry Birds movie.
Yes, I know. It's such a good fucking film.
I don't understand. I rated it very, very highly.
Yeah, and I loved how angry. Obviously, it's Angry Birds, but I loved how angry Red Bird was. Like how he just was pissed off about everything. It was brilliant.
That film I watched back to back. I had a Cineworld card at the time. I watched it back to back with a film called, it might have been like Money Heist or something like that. I can't remember. It had Jack. Is it Jack Connell? Jack O'Connell in it.
Jack O'Connell's magic. He wears a magic hat. He plays for Sheffield United.
Jack O'Connell is an actor.
Oop.
But
Sheffield.
the film is just looking. What was it? Money Monster.
Money Monster.
Yeah.
I've not heard of that.
It's got George Clooney and
All right.
some other people in it. But it was basically the entire plot of it really is George Clooney plays a guy called Lee Gates, and he has his own show on TV where he predicts financial things and works out how stock will go up and down, and so because of a glitch in the trading system, it costs loads of investors shit tons of money. One of the people that was that had invested in this company that he was recommending you put money in was the guy played by Jack O'Connell, and basically he took him hostage and was like, look, you've caused me to lose all this money, you've done this, you've done that. And it because he lost all of his money because he'd listened to the guy that George Clooney plays. But yeah, that film I watched, the straight before it I watched the Angry Birds movie, then I went and watched Money Monster, and I can tell you bear in mind, I quite enjoy like thrillers and like the financial side of that was what made me want to go and watch it. I preferred Angry Birds the movie to that film. There was something simplistic and childlike about the Angry Birds movie that made it so perfect.
Yeah, it was so well put together. There must have been some real planning going into that film because it wasn't just thrown together like you see a lot of films that are.
It's there was a it was weird. There was an actual storyline to it, and they shouldn't be.
Right. So just before we finish, then let's finish on favorite film of all time. Gary, you go first. Favorite film of all time. Go.
Favorite film of all time. I can't pick one, but I could pick a series, which is Police Academy.
Okay. Yeah. Fair play. Good set of films.
Not a specific one. It's just basically all of them. Like, just I love them all. They were just brilliant.
Niall, you? What are you saying?
Mine has to be Fury or Inglourious Bastards.
Fury's a fucking brilliant film.
With a special mention to Saving Private Ryan, because these were all films like Fury. I only liked the idea of watching after, like, obviously I'd watched Saving Private Ryan as a kid with my dad.
Yeah.
Then I watched Band of Brothers with him, the series, and ever since then I've loved World War II movies. And that's
Fury's great.
Fury and Inglourious Bastards, two amazing.
Is Fury got what's his name? Shia LaBeouf in it.
Shia LaBeouf, yeah, and Logan Lerman,
who
played Lado, Poseidon's son or something like that in
Percy Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've got to say my favourite film of all time, laugh if you might, but it's got to be Happy Gilmore. Absolutely love that film.
We had a conversation about this the other week. Happy
We did, yeah.
Fantastic. All
I love old Adam Sandler films. Are superb.
You know what? I reckon Adam Sandler's stuff up until
Jack and Jill.
Which one was the one where he's that they always call him Hollywood and he's ganging?
Oh, what's the name of that film? Grown Ups. Grown Ups.
Up until Grown Ups, I mean, Grown Ups 2 was alright. I wouldn't say it was great, but that was the last time I enjoyed an Adam Sandler film.
I tell you what, I do not recommend you watching is Jack and Jill. That's where he plays twins, and he's both Jack and Jill. It's fucking horrendous.
I can tell you, I'm probably not going to watch that then.
It's awful. But I recently watched a Netflix film with him in where he plays a serious role. He's a diamond. He's like a jewel cutter.
Really?
And things like that. It's based on a true story. He plays a serious role very, very fucking well. I can't remember exactly what the film's called, but if you have a look at it on Netflix, you'll find it, and it is such a good film. I would highly recommend it.
There was the were it like The Cobbler or something like that that he played in that was quite a good film.
I'm not sure. I'll tell you another great one of his is Don't Mess with the Zohan.
Oh yeah.
It's just like where you'd keep kicking people and shit. I
don't understand how he got away with that. That is old school Sandler.
Well, my favourite line out of that film is where he says to his friend, "You want to go disco?" And he goes, "Yeah, let's go disco." He went, "Okay, I bang your mama one more time and then we go disco." And he just takes his mum off and starts banging her again. It's fucking brilliant. Oh dear.
But yeah,
right.
I think that this is the end, doesn't it? Hopefully you've enjoyed this. If you have, let us know. Give us a like and subscribe. Make sure you subscribe because if you've made it this far, you might as well.
Absolutely.
But yeah, anything you want to see us do, chuck us a comment because at the moment we're chucking filler episodes in because at the moment we've not had guests. If you'd like to be a guest, let us know and we'll have a chat to you about it. But yeah, this has been the Not Another Northern podcast. I've been Niall, your co-host or one of the co-hosts.
Yeah, I've been Jamie as always, and it's been a pleasure talking to you guys.
And obviously Gary spent most of the night silent, so
Gary, are you awake?
Yeah, I'm awake. I'm here. I'm still awake.
Right. Okay. Well, thanks very much, guys. See you later.
Hopefully you've enjoyed.
Thank you.
And peace.